Hello, B-Town tutors. My name is Julian Batts, and I will be demonstrating a concept that is taught in Spanish up until the fourth semester. And that concept is the use of preterite versus the imperfect. The preterite and imperfect are two verb tenses used in Spanish in order to form the past tense. And I will be demonstrating the uses between the two tenses as well as how they are formed in sentences. So to start with preterite, the preterite is used to form single or completed actions and events. When we see a verb that is conjugated in the preterite, we know that that action was isolated and that the event was started and completed. It is also used to express special meaning with certain verbs. If we take a look here, all these verbs have special meaning in the preterite tense only. For example, with saber, meaning to know, that is changed to its preterite stem sup and is translated to found out in the preterite tense only. So anytime we see any one of these meanings, we know that that is going to trigger the preterite use. It is also used to express an action taking place as the main event with the verb I, meaning there is or there are, in the present tense, and that is changed to hubo in the preterite, and that is followed by an event. For example, hubo una fiesta, there was a party. And here are just some key words that are used to trigger the preterite use. We have un día, meaning one day. We have una vez, meaning one time. All those are going to be triggers for the preterite use. And then we have the imperfect. The imperfect is used for description mostly and describing the physical, mental, and emotional state of a noun in the past. It is also used to describe what used to happen in the past in reference to the repetition of an action. For example, cada día yo jugaba al tenis. That would translate to every day I used to play tennis. It is also used to form the past progressive forms of verbs with the was/were plus the verb plus the ing ending. So for example, I was walking, he was listening. Those are all forms of the imperfect. It is also used to set the background of a scene or place in reference to time, day, date, and weather. And then it is also used with the phrase there was or were. You take the verb I, meaning there is or there are in the present, and change it to había in the imperfect. However, instead of an event following, like in the preterite, it's going to follow by description. So for example, había muchas personas en la fiesta. That would translate to there were many people at the party. And then here are just some key words that trigger the imperfect. We have siempre, meaning always. We have muchas veces, meaning many times. All those are going to be triggers for the imperfect use. And so now we're going to take a look at some examples and sentences and determine whether or not they are preterite or imperfect, as well as their conjugations. So for number one, yo managed to comprar un bote. And so we know that managed to is a special meaning in the preterite tense from the verb poder. And so if we conjugate that in the yo form, that's going to be pude. Number two, there were muchas personas en la casa. Well, we know that there were is from the verb I. And if we look what follows that, it's a description. So that's going to be imperfect, and the conjugation is había. Number three, todas las semanas we swam a la piscina. The todas las semanas is the trigger phrase, that meaning every or all the weeks. And so if we conjugate that in the imperfect of we swam, it's going to be nadábamos. Number four, él began el camino por la playa. We know the began is an isolated occurrence, and it would be in the preterite tense. And so if we conjugate that in the L form, that's going to be empezó. Number five, el jardín was verde con muchas plantas. We know that that's a description. The verde is describing the el jardín. And if we conjugate that with ser in the imperfect tense, ser is conjugated irregularly with era. And then finally, number six, un día yo ran un maratón. We know un día is a trigger for the preterite. It's a one-time isolated event. And if we conjugate correr, meaning to run, in the yo form, it's going to be corrí. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you now have a better understanding of preterite versus the imperfect.